Welcome back to Talkin 270, a view of hoops from the capital city to the great state of Ohio, showcasing all of the great hoops being played here in the Buckeye State. And this week we have a couple different things to talk about along with our power rankings. We have LeBron's records being smashed, one of Ohio's last unbeatens falling, a 29-1 comeback, and an epic gym in the Gem City. You know what time it is. Let's roll the tape. Move over, LeBron, as Quinn Kwasniak is on his way to the top of the OHSAA all-time leading scorers list, and he's got no time for the king. The senior, known as Turtle Kwasniak by some, from Cornerstone Christian, has been putting up insane numbers his whole high school career and just set the state record for three-pointers in a career as well, hitting his 486th three last Saturday, helping Cornerstone knock off Dalton's 77-76. Kwasniak now has 2,891 points as of February 5th per Max Preps in his career, and his past legends like Jimmy Jackson, Bob Huggins, and the aforementioned LeBron James during his senior season so far, averaging 36.9 points per game. And to be the all-time leading scorer ever in Ohio history, Kwasniak needs 317 points. To do that, Kwasniak would need the 4 listed regular season games remaining, and Cornerstone would have to advance to at least the regional tournament to give him a chance, all while averaging 40 points per game in those 8 games. Regardless if it happens or not, the Army commit has had an incredible basketball career. Unique basketball venues are the best basketball venues, and when I had to park on the street and walk over a couple blocks to this gym in Dayton, I knew I had found my one for the year. Oakwood is known for being the Lumberjacks, or the Lumberjills for the girls' teams, but they have a gym that is more like an arena for Roman gladiators than chopping down trees. This place is named the Pit, and I was treated to a classic matchup with Valley View, as first place in the Southwestern Buckeye League was on the line. Oakwood led for a majority of the game, but Valley View and the sophomore duo of Ty Fritz and Brody Denny kept the Spartans alive until very late in the game, as they trailed by 1 with just 7 seconds left. Let's watch. That dime from Ty Fritz to Adam Dixon won the Spartans the game and briefly gave them a lead in the Buckeye division. As of today, they are tied in the loss column with 2 losses each, with Valley View having 2 more league games left than Oakwood to play, but Valley View has swept the regular season series. There was a crazy unbeaten that got knocked off this week in Central Ohio, but let's take a quick time out here to share our Central Ohio power rankings for Division 3 and a couple things to note about a few of them. As Bishop Hartley remains at number 1 in both these rankings and in the RPI, a win over St. Charles will earn the Hawks at least a share of the CCL title. Hamilton Township rises up to number 2 in these rankings as the Rangers won the MSL for the first time in program history on Saturday. And Bishop Watterson had a very difficult 4-game slate last week, going 1-3. The Eagles will once again be away from home this week with 2 more road games against quality opponents in number 5 DeSales and number 5 in Division 2 Big Walnut, and they took down Grove City on Tuesday night as well. And speaking of DeSales, what started out as an unsuspecting Tuesday night game in Columbus turned into a wild classic and an upset thriller. Instant classics have been a trend as of late anytime I'm in the gym, and I should have expected the unexpected after mentioning Reynoldsburg's undefeated record on last week's Talkin 270. But the high-flying Raiders did their best to put on a show early and often, but DeSales did not back down from the fight one bit. The Stallions and senior PJ Knowles kept chipping away at the lead, tying the score at 26 going into half. After a Xavier McKinney floater put the Raiders up 5 midway through the third, it looked as if the only undefeated team left in Central Ohio was going to find a way to roll through again, but Knowles would not let that happen, sparking a 22-8 run that gave DeSales the lead through 3, and they were up as many as 9 late in the fourth quarter. Reynoldsburg cut the lead to 3 multiple times in the final 2 minutes, but never retook the lead, and the party on Carl Road could begin as Division I's final unbeaten in the 6-1-4 was no longer. And after that upset, Olentangy Orange is back at number 1 in the power rankings this week following Reynoldsburg's upset loss. A 2-0 week for Orange should give them the top overall seed in the district via the Max Preps RPI system. But standing in their way is the same Upper Arlington team that handed Hilliard Darby just their 2nd loss of the year last weekend on Saturday. Pickerington Central has 2 remaining ranked games this week on the road at Newark and the red-hot Groveport Madison Cruisers before hosting Olentangy Orange on Saturday. The Tigers can seriously help their seeding situation with a 2-0 stretch this weekend. You can check out the power rankings here as we get ready to talk about Walsh Jesuit's crazy comeback. Down 29-1 to start the game, that was not going to be a problem for Walsh Jesuit on Tuesday night as they fell behind to Akron St. Vincent St. Mary in pretty wild fashion early in the game. as the Irish started hot on both ends of the floor and led by 28 after the opening 8 minutes, but also led 35-9 midway through the second quarter. Despite the 2-17 record on the season, the Warriors lived up to their nickname in the next 2 quarters, chipping away at the 28-point deficit that they started with, using defense like this from J.P. McMullen to spark the offense and trim into the Irish lead. After trailing 39-26 at half, the deficit was shrunk once again after this 3 from Noah Silverstein, and it was 50-41 after 3. There was no let up from the Warriors at all. They tied the game with this free throw at 52, and they trailed by just 2 with 15 seconds left before this Milan Paris steal attempt ended up in the hands of the Irish, and Lee Cotton's and 1 sealed the victory for St. Vincent St. Mary. And speaking of the old Division II, we have our Division II power rankings for Central Ohio with a few things to note, as Westerville North has won 13 straight and has been ranked for number 1 for all but 1 week this year and has never been lower than number 2. They will play Big Walnut this week. New Albany lost its share of first place in the OCC Ohio when they lost to Gahanna Lincoln on Friday for the second time this season, but Northland is the big mover this week as they moved into number 4 in the RPI system, and it's a big deal for the Vikings because they'll have a chance to be the top seeded team in the 4th district final bracket. That 5th district final bracket in Division II has a quick turnaround at a regional game at Worcester rather than staying at home and getting an extra 2 days to play at a regional tournament in Columbus. Franklin Heights is having its best season in the last 11 years, and the Falcons notched a statement win over their neighborhood rival Bishop Reedy on Tuesday night at home. Westerville Central won on the road at DeSales on Saturday, a couple days after the Stallions knocked off Reynoldsburg, and the Warhawks are a team that many of these top-seeded teams will not want to see in the tournament. I would not be shocked to see them win a district title with a record under 500. I want to give a big shout out to Tanner for becoming the first member of the 270 Hoops YouTube. This is a special membership program where you can get videos early access. You can chat with us in the comments and you guys will get highlighted, especially, and you get some really cool 270 emotes. So thank you again, Tanner, for that. And if you guys could, please like, comment, subscribe on this video. All the support is appreciated, especially here on TikTok. And as always, show up, show out, you'll get a shout out. See you guys.